everybody, it's the end of the month and I did a lot of reading. To start off, I did read these two books. If you know, you know. The whole dark romance thing is not something I normally read. If that is also you, this was a really good place to start. Nothing too extreme, nothing way outlandish, especially when a lot of the dark romance stuff I see on here tends to be more towards Haunting Adeline or somewhere in that realm. This is very tame in comparison. So definitely a good starting point. And if you're my mom seeing this, just ignore everything I just said. Next up is First Light Winds. I really enjoyed this. It takes place in the South, in like the Louisiana, Texas area. They bounce between states. She's like a super spy working for this organization, and she is following the male main character in this, who has a shady business in Texas, and the organization that she works for wants to know what's going on. There's a little bit of romantic undertone to it, but it is mostly about her journey, and her place in this organization, and her journey through that. I read this with my boyfriend. He picked this out, and 5 stars easily. Also, it's part of Reese's book club, which I didn't know that was a thing. So I'll definitely be looking into more books that are a part of this, because this was really good. Now to the books that I've read but not finished this month. They're not enough to I just read very slow. First is ACOTAR. As you can tell, I've also had some thoughts with this. Y'all hate Tamlin, and I don't know why. I don't understand. He hasn't really done anything wrong yet. Also, Lucian, I don't know how to say his name, but I'm liking him. And I've seen the fan art for Tamlin. That's not how I see him. I just see him as like a buff Link from Legend of Zelda, and I hope I'm not the only one that sees him that way. Also, Nesta's a bitch. I don't like her. Some of the stuff is a little bit repetitive and just takes a little bit too long for me personally. Overall, sitting at 3 stars right now. Next is Red Mars. No, the cover is not this red in real life. Just for whatever reason, the camera makes it look neon red. This is like the Lord of the Rings for sci-fi. My boyfriend wants to read this. This is not my thing. Usually. I am primarily listening to this on audio, either through Spotify or Audible, just kind of depends. I'm liking it so far. I think the reason why is because I'm listening to it. If I had to read this, this has so many like actual scientific bullshit that I don't understand. So if you want to get into sci-fi, find it on audio while also reading it, or just listen to it on audio. That helps me a lot, apparently. Again, overall, sitting at like 3.5 stars. Lastly, this slow as fuck behemoth. I'm reading this as part of a book club with some girls from New Mexico. I like it. It just takes so long. It took 130 pages to get to the point. And the point is Bryce, half fae, half human, and her best friend, Danica, however you say it, is a werewolf. I call her Danica. She's part of a werewolf pack. There's some dude named Briggs. He's blowing stuff up, killing people. Bryce is at the club. Danica and her pack get murdered. For all intents and purposes, the Angel Police can't figure out who did it because Briggs was wrongfully convicted. So the governor, Archangel dude, tells his little angel minions, hey, go get Bryce, and Bryce is going to help with the investigation whether she wants to or not, and one of the angels is going to babysit her. That's it. 133 pages to say, here's these 2 characters, one of them gets murdered, few years passed, angels can't figure it out, main character has to help solve a mystery while the angel babysits her. But now that it's gotten to that point, I'm liking it a lot more, especially Bryce's and Hunt's dynamic, where it's very much the banter. I love the banter. And I can see that they're starting to warm up to each other. Overall, though, this is still sitting at like 2.5 to 3 stars. I'm hoping somewhere in here it gets better and like really captures my attention, because I have the other 2 books down there. They're also just as thick. So those are my April reads. If you're currently reading any of those, put in the comments where you're at and where your current star rating for it is. If you finished it, put in the comments what you did rate it and why. And please let me know if Crescent City gets any better. It's so slow. Other than that, happy reading!